check for errors in the title. Hey guys, so welcome back to Bama Jaybird Resell. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Josh. Great to have you with me again today. Thanks for all the new subscribers the last few weeks. It's so good to have you guys on board with me. So today, just a really quick video. Going to go over some items that have sold the last couple of days. I've got 9 items that I'm getting ready to ship out for $887.98. Yes, you heard that right. Only 9 items and almost $900. But that's because of a couple of really good sales. One in particular that I can't wait to tell you about. So in addition to going over these few items that have sold, I'm not going to do a big teaching video this time, but I do want to address one little topic and give you a tip for how to maybe get some things to sell that you think should have already gone out the door. So we'll be looking at that in just a moment. Stay tuned for that. Let's get started. So our first item going out the door today, this is an Athleta Bora Bora bikini top. This is high neck swimsuit, extra large, floral pattern, and this was new with tax. I sold this for $12 plus shipping. I think I had like $5 in that. The next item going out, this is just a pair of Under Armour shorts. They're khaki colored. Nothing special about them really. They're a longer short. These are like 11 inches. Kind of like the golf shorts, I guess you could say. And I sold these for $15.99 plus shipping. Gave $2.50 for those. Next item. So I've been selling a lot of CDs, as you've probably figured out, those of you that have been watching. And so I have another set of rock CDs that I'm shipping out today. And I'll show you these real quick. Maybe you can see some of the titles. I'll read some of them to you though. So another cool set of rock CDs. This includes Upper Crust, Roadside Attraction, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Coverdale, Billy Squier, Virgos Malone, Widespread Panic, Tenacious D, and Badlands. I've really been doing good on these. I'm really excited about how well these are performing for me, selling these in lots after that buy. And as I told you, the profit margin on these is going to be pretty large, several $100s. So these sold for $22.99 plus shipping. I'm in the profit on these. And like I told you, maybe a quarter a CD is what I spent on those. This next item, this is a pair of Merrell Mocks. Merrell Mocks. They're called the Jungle Mock. They're in a nubuck. It's just like a suede kind of like feel to it, but it's sealed, not the rough suede, but the sealed leather. These sold for $25 plus shipping. So I gave $5 for these at a yard sale. I've had them for a while, but I didn't get them listed until the summer. So they've been setting probably for about, 4 to 6 months, but they did sell. I took an offer because I was ready to see some of this stuff move, and I really feel like about 25 to 30 might have been the best I could get on those. They're kind of used. But glad for that sale. Nothing wrong with it at all. All right, this next item. So over the summer, some of you that's watched all my videos maybe have already heard this, but I flew for the first time. So I don't want to make too big a deal out of this, but for me that's a big deal. It's not like some gigantic fear. It's just I never saw myself getting in a plane and going anywhere. And now as I look out in front of me, I don't see myself not being able to get in a plane to go some places. It's going to probably have to happen. But I was nervous. I ain't going to lie to you. I was nervous about it. And so I got in the plane for the first time. We flew to Maine. And it was a fantastic trip, guys. If you've never been, I know not everyone can take trips. And we don't always get to do that. But we had really wanted to take this trip. And so we got it all planned out. We were able to get things set up. We had some family that came in and took care of my mother for the week, and we took off for a week, and it was just so nice, so refreshing. Me and my wife being able to get away. We saw the Acadia National Park. Of course, Maine is the home of LL Bean, which is why I'm telling this story. And man, it was just a fantastic trip. The lighthouses, the coastline, the food. Went to Bar Harbor, of course, and we did go to Acadia National Park. Beautiful national park up there. And it's just such a interesting place, such an interesting area. We also got to go down into Boston while we were there and walk the Boston Commons. Went to a Red Sox game. I mean, it was just an amazing trip. And I'm so thankful that God let me do that. Even though He said, "Lo, I'm with you." I got pretty high on that plane. So, I had to break that rule. That's kind of been my ground rule, right? Literally stay on the ground, low. But I got in the plane, we took the trip, and I'm glad I did. We had a great time. And so I found this while we were there. I got this, I think it was at a Goodwill. I believe this is $5.99. This is a Sherpa line snap flannel made by LL Bean. It's a large size. And I sold this for $26 plus shipping. Had this listed at $29.99. Sent out an offer. Only had that listed for like 2 days. Yes, I did get it in the summer. If you're wondering, I know different people on their videos have shown how they get stuff home. We went and bought a large box at the Home Depot. I mean a large box. And I had that thing completely filled up and extra things stuffed into our suitcases. We didn't do anything but carry-ons. We had our personal bag and our carry-on bag, and we were able to pack all of our clothes into that. And so we didn't have a larger suitcase, to have no checked bags at all. So we considered doing that, but I wasn't going to be able to fit everything into a checked bag. And so I wound up having to pay UPS using Pirate Ship to ship everything back home. Now I listed a bunch of it quick, and then some of it sat around like this jacket. It needed washed. So I finally washed it. I listed it, and amazing, right? I mean, you list stuff and it sells. How about that? So like 2 days later, the thing's going out the door. So I'm glad that I made that sale, but just thought you might enjoy that story. All right, our next sale. So this is a set of CDs again. How about that, right? This is from those that I bought at the Goodwill. Now I gave 50 cents for some, 99 cents for other. This is a set of 10. Let's just say, to be fair, to be, on the high side, let's say we got $8.50 or $9 in these, okay? And this includes Young Jeezy, Memphis Black. If I don't say one of these names right, you can let me know about it in the comments. Young Buck, Beanie Siegel, T.I. King, Ja Rule. So some really cool titles. But these sold for $35 plus shipping. So either way, I'm probably tripling my money, roundabout tripling my money on those, and I'll take that every day. Those are easy to list, easy to ship, no problems. All right. Next item. So this was kind of interesting. I bought this at the Salvation Army a while back. I'm pretty sure it was 20 bucks I gave for this. I did pay up for it. It works. It's just doesn't have a shade. So this is an opalescent cranberry hobnail lamp. It sits on a marble base. This is brass top and bottom. The brass is a little bit, it's a little bit not just tarnished, but a little wore. It's got some bad places in it. I had great pictures, gave good description. I did make a mistake though. Okay, so I never do auctions. Just never. I've done 1 or 2 auctions since I've been doing eBay. Because I was unsure how exactly to price this, because of it not having the shade, there just weren't any examples that I felt like comped this one well. So I thought, I'd like to get $50 or more for it, because this is probably like a $250 item with the shade. I'd like to get that much. I knew that someone buying this would still have to buy a shade, and they wouldn't want to pay up too high for it because they got to go make that second purchase. So I thought if I could get 50, I'd be happy. So I put it on for auction. And I did like I told you in my last video, don't work harder, but work smarter, right? Don't be afraid to borrow. So I used a listing of this exact lamp, but it had the shade. I was working late at night. I don't know if you ever do this. I do this from time to time. I got in a hurry. I corrected my title. I made the remarks. I explained that it didn't have the shade. I put no shade in the title. And did my description, all that stuff. I went through all that, but I didn't. I was in such a hurry. When I did the generated one, because I do use AI. Some of y'all don't. I do use it. I clicked the AI generation button, and because in the item specifics, they had the shade thing checked, okay, that specific was checked, and I didn't notice it. It generated that into the description that the AI created for this lamp, and I didn't read it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I didn't read it. I usually skim over them and check them for anything like that. I was in a hurry. It was late at night. I didn't read it. Next day, I got a question about it. Guy's like, hey, I've already gotten a bid, by the way. I got my first bid, and the guy says, hey, can I get some pictures of the shade? The listing says it has a shade. Well, I messaged back, and I explained, and because I had a bid, I could not make changes. So I let it go. That may be stupid. Let me know about it in the comments. Maybe I should have ended it right then, corrected, and relisted. I did tell the buyer this in a message after it sold. I made sure to be clear that the title was correct. The reason it didn't have pictures of a shade is because it didn't have one. I mean, that was pretty obvious, I thought, either way. But waxing long on that, I just wanted to point out that, you know, we all make errors, and sometimes you just gotta, you know, it's better to get out in front of it. I felt better about contacting the buyer immediately and letting them know before shipping this, rather than waiting around, right, to see if I was going to have a problem after I shipped it. So I wanted to get ahead of that. But anyway, that I had $20 in, and it sold for $47 plus shipping. So not a huge profit on that altogether. Time I take the time to, you know, prepare it to ship. It's going to be a headache, but you know, it's a cool item. It's just hard to pass up. Next item. So this is one of the better pickups I've had in a while for something small. I purchased this at the Goodwill. This is a Carlin box. Now, a Carlin box is basically, or Carlin's the brand. Basically what it is, it's an electrical box. This specifically is a brass one made to go in the floor. You see how it would go down, it flips up, it covers it. So you see these a lot of times like in public spaces where there's platforms built, stages, where you have like basketball courts where wiring is run under the wood or under the stage. You'll see these in the floor. Some people even have these in their home if they're, you know, I won't say just fancy. I'm sure there's homes that aren't super fancy that have these, but I don't have any of these. I don't have any wiring connections in the floor. But anyway, these are pretty expensive new. I didn't realize how expensive they were because I've never purchased one until I picked this up. We were in Goodwill with my uncle and aunt. We had taken them to town with us. Weren't really out there to do any sourcing. They wanted to stop. And so I was just kind of picking around and looking while I was in there on a Saturday afternoon, not expecting to find a thing on a Saturday at the, you know, middle to end of the day. But I'm walking by and I see this. I pick it up and I scanned it. And man, if it wouldn't like big sell-through rate, like right at 100%, I think it was, if I remember right. And I know it was high, and I haven't had this listed but a month maybe. And it was selling for like $70+ new. And so some had sold for right at 100. So I listed mine kind of in that range where I thought it'd move quicker at $79.99. Guys, it sold for full asking price, $79.99 plus shipping. Now, this last item, this is just makes me happy. This is why we sell on eBay. You know, we're trying to, of course, make a living, and we you know, we have to make this kind of find every now and then in order to really make it worth it. This is that Big E Levi's denim trucker jacket. Okay, I know you can't tell much about it through the bag. I'll try to throw a picture up there on the screen for you. When I do the picture, I will also tell you what I paid for it, because honestly, I don't remember. It seems like it was 20 or 25. It might have been 15. I know it wasn't over 25, and it might have been as little as $15.99. I just can't remember exactly. But I'll put the price right here. Okay. My wife is actually the one that found this. We're in Goodwill in Montgomery. That's where her family lives. And we're just kind of, you know, making some stops that day. I made a video of this, our thrifting trip that day. And you can go watch it. I'll put a link to that in the video as well, or in the description at least. And she comes up with this jacket. She's holding it. She's like, you think this would be good? And I'm looking at it like, I mean, you know, maybe, you know, how much is it? And I hadn't yet noticed that it's Big E. And then I'm like, I don't know, because, you know, I mean, you can only get so much for a regular trucker jacket if it's not, you know, something special about it. And it was just in too good a shape, I thought. It was almost like, I mean, this thing's just crispy, man. This thing's in great shape. And so I got to looking a little closer, and I saw the tab, and it had an uppercase E. Now, for those of you that don't know, go back and watch my video on old Levi's, okay, on identifying these jackets and what that Big E stands for. The Big E sets apart dates of production, okay? So beginning in the early 70s, Levi's quit producing red tabs to sew onto their garments that included the uppercase E. In its place, it became lowercase. Now, there were some tabs that were still used, of course, back orders that were attached for a while till they ran out, but that was the transition there. The point is, you find a Big E Levi's item, you've got something that's at least 50 years old, and they're highly sought after, very collectible, very valuable. So I priced this to top the market. I put it up for $5.99. I knew I was asking a lot, but my point was, I wanted to get the strongest offer possible, and I was really hoping to get upwards of $500. Sold comps start in the mid twos to high twos. I mean, sometimes that's all you get. But I was waiting for the right buyer. I knew that mine, the condition it was in, should command a premium price. And so I threw it up there. I've had all kinds of watchers, and I've sent out tons of offers. I got to the point in my offers, I was sending out offers at $550, $525. Well, I finally have kind of, my attachment started to, lessen a little bit. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to throw an aggressive offer out there. Because I told myself all along, if someone offered $500, I would probably take it. So I just threw a $500 offer out. And I got a counter offer. The counter offer was $460. And so I was faced with this dilemma. Maybe you've been here. I thought to myself then, probably if they had countered at $480, I would have immediately accepted. And so considering the fact that I would accept $480, I had to then think about, is $20 on a nearly $500 item, is $20 enough to risk having to wait another 6 months to make this sale? And the more I thought about it, the more kind of foolish it seemed. I decided to take it. So I got $460 plus shipping for this Levi's denim trucker jacket with the big E tab, meaning it had to be from the late 60s, early 70s. So I don't have any big teaching segment. I just got a pointer or a tip for you. So I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you think you have an item that should have already sold, but for some reason it's still sitting in your store, for some reason it still hasn't moved. Well, here's my suggestion to you, okay? I say check for errors in the title. Sometimes we have an item that's just not getting views, that should be getting views. We know it's an item that sells, that moves, and we can't figure it out. Like, we keep checking, but we're not paying attention, and we probably have an error. I don't know about you, but when I'm using my phone, sometimes I get in my own way because I list on my phone, and I will make spelling errors with, just typing. I just do it all the time anyway. The other thing that happens to me a lot is a lot of the descriptive words, the brand names, different things like that, they're not a recognized word in that autocorrect system, right? It's not recognized as a word. And so it will autocorrect you to something else. Or sometimes even on things that does recognize, because of an error that you're making as you're typing, it will autocorrect. It won't even show that it was a misspelled word. So if you're looking for, a line underneath it to indicate to you that, oh, I messed this up, you may not find it. There's people that literally on eBay, they go out and they search the misspelled brand names on purpose to look for low priced items, guys. People that have mistitled, that have maybe had it set in their shop a long time. They've been dropping that price, putting it on sale, and they go make steals and put it back up for sale, make a huge profit because they do those things correctly. All I'm saying is, be careful that you don't misspell things in your title. One misspelled word in that title could be throwing the entire search engine optimization off and causing your item not to appear when buyers are looking for that item specifically. And if they can't see it, they can't buy it. So make sure that you don't have any errors in those titles. It's just a good practice to go back. If you go in and look at your listings, you sort your listings by views. So start with those that have, maybe no views or very few views. And, sometimes that's because it's junk, right? We've all been there. We've all listed stuff that probably is not going to sell on eBay. And we have to kind of back up and say, okay, so what do I need to do with this stuff? Maybe I need to chunk it, pull it, take it down, yard sell it, donate it, whatever. But if you've got items that are down there in that bottom group that have almost no views, but they should have sold, make sure there's no errors. All right, guys. So I've enjoyed it. I hope that you got something out of this. I do like telling stories. That's just who I am. For those of you that don't know too, I was a teacher for 18 years. I taught history and science. I'm used to standing in front of kids and doing a lot of talking. And so when I get this camera on now that I'm getting comfortable, sometimes I have a hard time getting myself to shut up about things. But nevertheless, it's been great. I love you guys. I'm telling you, all the new subscribers, I appreciate you. I appreciate all the comments. I just can't tell you enough how much it means to me that so many of you take time to watch. With that being said, I want to remind you too that God loves you. And guys, whatever you do, life can throw some curveballs at you. I know. Trust me. I've experienced quite a few of my own. But whatever you do, don't give up. Just hang in there. Things will get better. See you on the next one.